Salem is about to explode, and not in one way, in three. A possible drug relapse could shatter a teen love story. A corporate trap could destroy Johnny DeMara's reputation overnight, and in the shadows, Dr. Rolf's glowing pod is setting the stage for a resurrection that may rewrite family history. And just when you think you know who the heroes will be, the spoilers tease an unexpected duo stepping up in a rescue mission no one saw coming. Spoilers ahead for Days of Our Lives for the next 2 weeks, March 2nd through March 13th. Now let's break this down objectively. What's happening, why it matters, and which tiny details could trigger the biggest fallout. One of the most emotionally explosive threads this week isn't about romance, it's about fear. The kind of fear that creeps in slowly, and then hits you all at once. Because Sarah Horton and Maggie aren't just concerned about Holly Jonas. Spoilers suggest they're genuinely weighing the possibility that Holly may be back on drugs. And if those two are asking that question, it's not coming from rumors. It's coming from patterns, behavior that doesn't add up, mood swings that feel too sharp, reactions that don't match the situation. Moments where Holly seems present 1 minute, and completely off the next. Sarah is a medical professional. She knows what relapse can look like. Maggie is a careful observer. She's not easily manipulated by teen drama. So their worry suggests Holly's situation has moved beyond teen stress into something that feels clinically suspicious. Now, cut to Tate Black, because Tate is right in the blast zone. Spoilers say Tate reaches out to Ariana, Ari, Horton for help, and that's important. Tate doesn't just run to anyone. If he's asking Ari, it means he's starting to realize something terrifying. He doesn't know what's happening to Holly anymore. And that helplessness is exactly what makes this story tense. When you love someone who's spiraling, your brain starts racing through a checklist you never wanted to carry. Is Holly stressed? Or is something altering her? Is she hiding a secret? Or is someone hiding the truth from her? Is this self-destruction, or manipulation? And if this is relapse, how long has it been happening behind Tate's back? Ari could become the missing piece because she might notice what Tate can't. She might know Holly's routine, who she's been around, what social pressure she's under, or what Holly won't admit to Tate. And here's the biggest thing. The tension isn't just, will Holly and Tate survive as a couple? It's, does Tate uncover what's fueling Holly's behavior before something irreversible happens? Because in Salem, once a storyline becomes medical, legal, or dangerous, it escalates fast. And that's where the chilling connection starts forming. Because Holly's potential relapse doesn't exist in a vacuum. Not when there's another storyline happening at the same time, involving secret bottles, disguised packaging, and medication being delivered like contraband. Now we pivot into something colder, more calculated. Sophia Choi summons Melinda Trask, and pressures her to make sure Rachel gets a small box. Inside, a new supplement bottle, filled with a fresh round of antipsychotics. Let's sit with that for a second, because this isn't casual. It's not friendly. It's not help. It's controlled delivery. And the wording matters. It's being presented as a supplement bottle. That choice feels intentional. Like someone is trying to hide the real purpose from anyone who might check. That raises two immediate red flags. 1. Why is Sophia so determined to control what Rachel receives? If this is legitimate treatment, why the secrecy? Why the urgency? Why the pressure on Melinda? 2. Why disguise it as supplements? Because supplement sounds harmless. It sounds optional. It sounds like vitamins. But antipsychotics are serious medication, and if they're being slipped into a system quietly, that implies someone is trying to maintain power over what Rachel knows, or what Rachel can prove. Now here's where the writing gets really dangerous, in the best soap opera way. This small box could become a domino that knocks over multiple storylines, because once medication is being moved in secret, you have to ask, who else is being medicated or influenced without full transparency? Who benefits when Rachel is kept stabilized, or kept quiet? Is this about care, or control? And the most suspenseful possibility is the one you can't ignore. If this hidden supplement pipeline is connected to Holly's suspicious behavior, even indirectly, then Salem may be dealing with a bigger manipulation plot. Not just one person spiraling, but multiple people being managed through substances and deception. Melinda's involvement adds another layer. Because Melinda isn't naive, she's strategic. She thinks in terms of legal outcomes and leverage. So either Melinda is being used, or she's helping run the operation because it protects someone, shields liability, or sets up a future courtroom twist. And in both scenarios, the conclusion is the same. This isn't going away quietly. Eventually someone opens that box, and when they do, the questions won't stop. Now let's shift into the corporate battlefield, because Days of Our Lives doesn't just break hearts, it destroys reputations. Bonnie Kuriaki's book is being fast-tracked at DiMera Enterprises, and spoilers say Johnny DiMera is walking straight into a trap. And here's why this is so smart from Kate and Xander's perspective. Bonnie's book creates paper trails. Meetings, emails, files, drafts, approvals. It creates the perfect environment for a setup, because information is moving fast, and nobody is double-checking every detail. Xander and Kate's likely plan? Make it look like Johnny stole proprietary information from Titan. That's not just scandal. That's career death in Salem's business world. Because once the rumor becomes, Johnny stole from Titan, everything around him becomes suspicious. Every decision looks corrupt. Every success looks stolen. Every relationship looks like a strategic lie. And the trap is especially brutal because Johnny is a DiMera. People already expect him to be guilty. So Kate and Xander don't even need perfect evidence. They just need enough smoke for the town to assume fire. Then Theo Carver enters with an offer for Johnny, and this is where things get even more dangerous. Theo's back, cleared to work, and he's got power moves on his mind. The spoilers tease that Theo may want Johnny on his team, possibly as COO. On the surface, it sounds like a win: stability, leadership, and a strong partnership. But in context, it's a minefield, because if Johnny is offered a high-level role right when confidential material is being moved around, then it becomes easy to write the narrative. Johnny had access. Johnny had motive. Johnny had opportunity. Even if Johnny does nothing wrong, the appearance alone could make him easier to frame. So the real suspense isn't only, will Johnny get trapped? It's, who profits when Johnny's name becomes toxic? Does it elevate Xander? Strengthen Kate's control? Remove a DiMera obstacle? And don't forget Chanel, because Chanel is attached to Johnny's public image now. If Johnny gets dragged, she gets dragged. If he's accused, she's questioned. If he collapses, their baby story becomes even more fragile. So the question becomes, how fast does this trap spread from business into Johnny's home life? And when Johnny realizes who did it, does he fight smart? Or does he explode and prove their narrative for them? Now let's shift from corporate chaos to something even more emotionally dangerous: Johnny and Chanel's baby appointment. Spoilers say Johnny joins Chanel for a critical appointment regarding their baby, and the tease is simple but loaded. Will everything be okay? Or will a new pregnancy issue surface? In soap language, that kind of wording usually means one of two things. Either the appointment reveals a medical complication that changes the timeline, or it exposes a new fear that forces Johnny and Chanel to make a hard choice fast. And what makes this storyline especially cruel is the timing. Because Johnny is already walking through a minefield at work, and when someone feels like their career, identity, and reputation are under attack, they cling to one thing for stability. For Johnny, that one thing is supposed to be his future with Chanel and their baby. So if the appointment brings uncertainty, even a hint of something's off, Johnny's psychological foundation starts cracking. Here's the realistic chain reaction to watch for. Johnny becomes hyper-protective. He tries to control everything, including Chanel's emotions. Chanel feels overwhelmed. She wants support, but not pressure. Small disagreements become major fights because neither of them is operating from calm. They're operating from fear. And this is the kind of emotional pressure cooker that makes people do things they normally wouldn't. If Johnny feels cornered, he might react impulsively at the exact moment Kate and Xander need him to slip up. He might storm into Titan. He might confront the wrong person. He might sign something without reading it. He might lash out publicly and hand his enemies the perfect headline. So the real suspense isn't only, is the baby okay? It's, does the appointment become the emotional trigger that causes Johnny to ruin his own defense before the trap even fully closes? Now we hit the headline mystery. The kind of storyline that makes longtime viewers lean forward. The secret lab. The glowing pod. Dr. Rolf. Spoilers say Gwen and EJ join Dr. Wilhelm Rolf as they prepare for the awakening of whoever is inside that pod. And then Paulina pressures EJ hard, demanding to know what he's up to. And if Paulina is the one pushing, that's significant. Paulina doesn't bluff. She doesn't let people talk circles around her. When she senses a Demera plot, she goes straight for the throat. So when EJ finally unveils the truth and delivers a shocker, it's because he has to. He can't hide it anymore. Spoilers strongly point toward the resurrection twist being Lexi Carver, Abe's former wife, apparently brought back from the dead, with Nikki Crawford stepping in as Lexi. If that's true, then this isn't just a twist. It's a reality-breaking event for Salem. Because Lexi isn't just a character return. Lexi is a connection point to Abe's past, to Theo's identity, and to the kind of unresolved grief that people build their lives around. And here's where the analysis gets interesting. EJ doesn't present this like a crime. He presents it like an achievement. Which means he likely believes this move gives him leverage, emotional, political, or both. So ask yourself, why resurrect Lexi? Why now? Possibility 1. It's a power move. A miracle that makes EJ untouchable. Possibility 2. It's leverage over the Carvers, gratitude, loyalty, silence. Possibility 3. It's not purely EJ's plan, and he's involved in something he can't fully control. And don't forget the biggest soap truth. Resurrection on days rarely comes clean. Even if Lexi wakes up, she may not be the Lexi everyone remembers. There could be confusion, memory gaps, psychological instability, programming, or manipulation, or even a condition that makes her vulnerable to whoever brought her back. So the suspense isn't only, is Lexi alive? It's, what did Rolf do to make this possible, and what does EJ think he owns now? Because the moment Lexi opens her eyes, the emotional shock hits Abe and Theo. But the real danger might be the strings attached. Now we enter week 2, where storylines stop simmering and start detonating. First, Johnny. Spoilers say Johnny becomes livid once Kate and Xander's trap pays off, meaning the accusation doesn't just exist, it gains traction. It spreads. And when an accusation like corporate theft starts moving, it doesn't stay in the boardroom. It becomes whispers among employees, suspicion from allies, questions from Chanel, and pressure from anyone who thinks they can protect the company by throwing Johnny under the bus. And if Johnny is also dealing with uncertainty from that baby appointment, his life becomes pure chaos, the kind that makes someone explode publicly. That's exactly what Kate and Xander want. Because the fastest way to prove someone guilty is to provoke them into acting guilty. Now the danger storyline escalates hard. Stephanie Kyriakis and Jeremy Horton are still held captive by Owen Kent, who remains obsessed with Stephanie after years apart. This is not a simple kidnapping plot. It's obsession, which means logic doesn't apply. Owen's behavior depends on emotion, and that makes him unpredictable. Stephanie comes up with an escape plan, and Jeremy vows to help distract Owen. But spoilers warn it could end in disaster. Translation: the plan might work partially, which is often the worst outcome. Because partial escape attempts are what trigger a captor's rage. Meanwhile, Steve and Jada dig into leads, and eventually Steve realizes Owen is back in Salem. And then Steve launches a physical attack. That moment matters because Steve doesn't snap easily, but when he does, it's because the stakes are life or death. He demands to know where Stephanie is, but Owen may play mind games. And mind games are Owen's advantage. Because if he keeps Steve talking, if he keeps him guessing, he buys time, and time is what the captor always wants. Then we get the twist that feels like the promised unexpected heroic duo. Alex Kyriakis finds Jeremy alone and decks him. Which sounds like pure rage, until Jeremy starts explaining. Jeremy insists Owen is involved and that Stephanie is hidden somewhere else. And suddenly the dynamic flips. This isn't Alex versus Jeremy. This becomes Alex and Jeremy versus Owen. It's an unlikely alliance built on one urgent truth: Stephanie doesn't have time for their drama. So if they team up, it's not about forgiveness, it's about survival. And the tension is brutal because you have to ask, will they find Stephanie before Owen moves her again? Or before Owen decides Stephanie's resistance means she needs to be punished? So by the end of these 2 weeks, Salem is juggling 3 ticking bombs, and any one of them could blow up the entire canvas. 1. Holly and Tate. Is Holly spiraling again? Or is Tate about to uncover a hidden system that's been influencing people behind the scenes? 2. Johnny and Chanel. Will Johnny survive a corporate framing that could ruin his name? And will their baby appointment bring a complication that pushes him over the edge? 3. Lexi's return. And is Lexi Carver truly back? Or is EJ's miracle really a weapon with strings attached? Because here's the scary part. When someone returns from the dead in Salem, the town doesn't just change. It fractures. And when a kidnapping storyline collides with corporate sabotage and medical fear, that's when Days of Our Lives is at its most dangerous.